Good morning and welcome to the End Time News TV program. I'm your host, Brian Delory, and I thank you all for tuning in to this program. This is a new program I've begun here on the Spreaker Network, and I just want to say to you all that Jesus is alive and well, that He is Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and there is nothing that can happen without His permission. And the message for today is entitled God's Judgments Increasing and Intensifying. And we all have seen this happening here in the last, several years. But I noticed just recently, like in the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's been several floods, several earthquakes, of course, several terrorist attacks. And all of these things are predicted to happen in the Bible. So this shouldn't take us by surprise. If you read the book of Matthew chapter 24, it tells us that there will be floods, pestilences, famines, and earthquakes. It tells us this, and this is in the last days. And this is the way we are able to tell that we're in the last days, by the judgments taking place in the world. And this is a worldwide judgment. You know, I get a kick out of people who talk about America being under judgment. The whole world is under judgment. The whole world has rejected God, and therefore the world is under judgment. And that's what is now happening. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people want to believe that America is different from the other nations of the world, and we're really in for it. No, we're no more in for it than the other nations of the world. Remember, the children of Israel, when they sinned against God, when they forsook God, when they turned their backs on God, God allowed them to be judged. And the whole world just turns its back on God. The whole world is now being plagued by liberalism. And so liberalism is just like one very famous talk show host calls it, a mental disorder. It's just seeing things differently than what they're than the way they really are. It's people who are liberal are, they have everything backwards. Remember, it tells us that also in Matthew 24 that there will be distress of nations with perplexity. And the perplexity comes as a result of leaders, world leaders, not doing anything about the problems that are taking place in their countries, which causes the people to be perplexed because the answers, the solutions are there, and yet the leaders of the world are doing nothing about it. For instance, in this country, in the United States, we have a closet Muslim for a president who does not take seriously. Well, let me rephrase that. I think he takes it very seriously. I think every move he's made since he's taken office has been by design and intended to destroy this country. I believe without a doubt that's what he's up to. So to say he's incompetent or doesn't know what he's doing, that's nonsense. He knows good and well what he's doing, and he's doing it for his own purposes. And years ago, back in 2008, when he was first running for office, all of the conservative talking heads were telling us the things he had written in his books, the church he was attending with Jeremiah Wrong, as I call him, in many statements he made about disliking the Constitution. These things were all, and of course, one of the main ones was that he was an ardent follower of Saul Alinsky, and so they were warning us, do not elect this man. And yet, for all of that, people elected him not once but twice. Now, I'm not entirely certain that the second election wasn't actually a selection. In other words, the election was stolen from Mitt Romney, but I don't want to get into all that. My point is this. that this man knows what the solutions to protecting our country and saving our country are, and yet he doesn't do it. He goes ahead and does his own thing, which is also exactly what all the other leaders of the world are doing. And so therefore you have this liberal mentality that's ruling the entire world, and only one man is standing up against it, and that's Donald Trump. But all the leaders of the world, for the most part, are just immersed in liberalism. Liberal philosophy is what has caused all of the problems in France. Remember all the terrorist attacks? Because no one's allowed to have a gun, and at one point, not even the police were allowed to have a gun. And so, what happened? They were attacked, and they were attacked viciously. And they've done nothing other than they did arm the police. But people over in France, I think France has some of the most toughest gun laws in the world. So nobody can have a gun, and so the terrorists keep attacking. As long as they know that the people are sitting ducks, that's what they're going to do. Then we have Angela Merkel in Germany. She's flooded her country with all sorts of illegal aliens, pretty much like what's happening here, because she's trying to destroy the country. And all of this liberalism is also rooted in globalism, because all of these world leaders that do this, they believe in a one-world government and a one-world society and a one-world dictatorship. That's what they believe. That's what they're shooting for. And so, you're never going to change that. And there is coming a time when those plans will be implemented, and the world will be given over to fascism and liberalism, and we will have an antichrist and a world religion until he declares himself to be God, and then the kings of the earth will destroy the one world religious system, which I believe is the Catholic Church. And I realize I'm sort of rambling. I'm just going on and on about things, but let me just summarize right now that the things we're now seeing, the wars, the famines, the earthquakes, the floods, the pestilence, the murders, the degradation of human society, all of it was predicted by the Bible, and it's all coming to pass very quickly. Remember, many Bible teachers, some well-meaning, some not well-meaning, but many Bible teachers believe that the church is awaiting some end-time revival where God's going to pour out his Spirit one last time on the planet, and then Jesus is going to return after that. I disagree with that. I do not believe that, because it doesn't fit in with what the Bible says, which is in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1, where it says, "And the Spirit speaketh expressly that in latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils." That doesn't sound like a worldwide revival to me. It sounds to me like the decline of the church, the decline of human society, which is exactly what the Bible predicted. 2 Timothy 3:13, "Evil seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." So mankind is getting worse, not better. And I think you can see that. I mean, if you just go back in your mind, go back over the last 20, 25 years and see how much worse the world has gotten during that time, with all the terrorist attacks, the murders, all the things that are now happening. And don't believe that just because if Donald Trump should be elected, and I'm not at all certain he will be, but assume that he is, that doesn't mean that everything's going to be all's going to be well with the world again. It's not like that. I believe Donald Trump has been raised up to guide us through some very difficult times. That's what I believe is now happening, but we shall see. So this is why we are seeing the things we're now seeing in the world with the judgments, I believe the judgments of God increasing in frequency and intensity, and it's just going to continue that way. Do not expect anything to get better. Expect everything to get worse. Draw near to God, because now is no time when you should be running wild in sin and playing with the things of the world. You need to draw close to God, because now we need God now more than we've ever needed him, because there are things coming on this earth that you can't even imagine. You can't even wrap your mind around what is about to take place in this world. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out the program. I thank you all for listening. Again, this is a new broadcast, End Time News TV. I have a website, endtimenewstv.com. You can go to that website. There are materials uploaded there that you can browse through, and I believe you'll be blessed by them. There's also another new website I've put up, End Time Revival Radio, and that site is up. There are materials uploaded there, but I'm still in the process of editing that site. And I would appreciate it if you are so inclined that if you want to donate, go to the donate link. Or sometimes there's not a donate link. Sometimes I just say helpful links. When you go to the links page, at the very top of the page, there's a GoFundMe link there, and you can donate through that link if you are so inclined. And of course, if you do donate, your donation would be greatly appreciated. And that's going to do it for today. And as always, I leave you with this reminder to keep the faith and to defend the truth. Have a good day, everybody.